Vietnam will overtake the country as the ASEAN's fastest growing economy.
If we don't tackle this issue, our productivity levels could decline. And if that happens, the vision of Golden Indonesia will not be realized. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Widhya Facitha Rezaliany and I'm standing here to deliver my speech. And today, I want to talk about how we achieve the Golden Indonesia in 2045, especially for Gen Z. But before that, I want to ask you first. Are you sure Indonesia will be golden in 2045? Is Gen Z able to face all the challenges to reach that era? Well, I'm not underestimating Gen Z here. And when I say Gen Z, I'm not talking about mental health or other than that, which is commonly heard. I want to dig deeper into what is actually happening right now. I mean, let's see what the problem that I face today. 9.9 million Gen Z are jobless, whether they are not pursuing formal education or not in the workforce. And it turns out the problem is not only from Gen Z. People might think that Gen Z is the only problem. No, if you're anything like me, you might find yourself constantly overwhelmed by everything that is wrong with this statement. And if we take a closer look, Gen Z is currently facing this. So, and here again, I remind you, this problem is not pure from Gen Z. So please, let's work together to solve these issues, okay? Now, let's move to the three main factors, which I think is important according to my opinion. Okay, here's the three lines. The first line that I want to talk about is education. And then the Gen Z and supportive cooperation from the government. So, by 2045, we'll experience a demographic bonus where there are more young people than older adults. People say this will be golden, but it could turn out bad if we don't make the most of it. When there are more young people, they tend to be more productive, with greater productivity and also with supportive cooperation from the people who govern this country, we can achieve higher economic turnover. Anyways, we can still make it though. So, here, I want you to listen and sleep on what I'm just saying in this video, because I bet you guys it's really important for you to know what's going on here and what you should do about it. Okay? Without further ado, let's get into it. So, the true meaning of Golden Indonesia is when Indonesia becomes a developed nation, right? Breaking free from the middle income trap, and it depends significantly on its per capita income. And currently, Indonesia's per capita income stands at $5,100, and we need it to exceed about $13,000 or even more to achieve this. Achieving this requires an economic growth rate of 7%, which is incredibly difficult for us. Why? Because Indonesia faces a rarely discussed and explored issue, that is human capital. And then we arrive at the crux of the matter: education. The force that cannot live and transform our human capital. Indonesia stands at the threshold of remarkable economic growth, but let us not be complacent, for there's a formidable challenge ahead. Countries like Vietnam, Philippines, and with their robust educational systems are rapidly closing the gap. Shall we allow ourselves to be outpaced by nations that have made education their priority? Let me show you guys. In this very moment, Vietnam has become one of the fastest growing economies in the world, because in 1990, Vietnam started prioritizing education. So let me explain why education is so important and why is Indonesia falling so far behind. But before we diving in, let's review the challenges in Indonesia's education sector. Currently, education is considered a tertiary concern, and tuition has skyrocketed. Meanwhile, graduates from tertiary educations earn the highest economic returns compared to other levels of educations. Even though Indonesia has invested around 20% or approximately 600 trillion rupiah in education through programs like PDP, KIP, and many other scholarships out there. And it still doesn't seem like it's enough. And unfortunately, national data has been hacked, including scholarship information. And then, many people in remote areas still lack access to primary education, even though education is a fundamental right for everyone. Education, the very foundation of our future, is not tragically viewed as a tertiary concern. Can we bear to see the dreams of our youth hanging by a thread while study schedules remain unchanged? Moreover, the inequality in our education system is glaring. In remote areas, access to primary education remains a distant hope. How can we, in good conscience, accept that in this modern age, education, a fundamental right for everyone, every child, continues to be an unattainable dream for so many? Well, we must ask ourselves, what kind of future do we envision of our nation? Shall we stand by it as education remains a distant hope? Distant priority, or will we rise to the challenge and make it the cornerstone of our society? Will we invest in our schools, safeguard our data, and ensure that every child, no matter where they live, has access to quality education? This is not merely about keeping pace with other nations. It is about securing a future where every Indonesian can realize their full potential. Our collective destiny hinges on this. So let us act, let us invest, let us prioritize education for our future, for our children, and for our nation. The importance of education is based on the challenge we are facing today. Indonesia has fallen far behind. Why do I say so? Because as we can see that Apple has invested around 256.5 trillion in Vietnam, and Indonesia is just 1.6 trillion rupiah, and it means that Indonesia isn't ready compared to Vietnam or neighboring country. Last back when we gained independence, both Vietnam and Indonesia were starting from similar beginnings. So why is Vietnam now poised to surpass us? So since 1990, Vietnam Ministry of Education and Training has overseen nearly every aspect of their education system. Considering the challenge we face today, our need to create infrastructure coupled with a workforce that doesn't quite meet current standards. Higher education is crucial for Indonesia, especially in this digital era, where companies need high-skilled workers to meet current and future demands. So, if we don't tackle this issue, our productivity levels could decline. And if that happens, the vision of Golden Indonesia will not be realized. And the last problem, which I think is substantial, is us, Gen Z. It might be partly our fault. Many of us believe that education is a scam, even though it's crucial in today's world. We want everything instantly and treat job interviews mere formalities and don't take them seriously. This could be influenced by FOMO and following trends. Come on guys, we prefer freedom and flexibility. Yes, I admit it. Leading many of us to work in the informal sector instead of the formal one. Remote jobs, freelancing, content creator, and there is still much more. But the good news is, many Gen Z are succeed in these fields. But let's back to the main points. We can't let the formal sector be neglected. We actually need more people working in that sector. One reason for the lack of formal job is that our manufacturing sector is lagging behind. So, what can we do as Gen Z now? Well, I'll give you these 3 points. The first one is, please guys, stop thinking that education is a scam. And then number 2, don't forget to focus on manufacturing and agriculture sectors. And then the last one is, yes, informal is fun, but don't forget the formal one. And from me to you guys who's watching this, I ask you to be aware of the current situation, and I hope you can draw the right conclusions and take the necessary action to lead Indonesia into its golden era. I'm Widhya Facitha Rezaliany. Thank you for watching and see you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.